You got the money, so what's still missing? Today's replay hits different because it asks the question most high performers never slow down to answer.
That's right, Duane. When money's off the table, what do you really want more of?
Mm,
This episode cuts right through that noise and gets to the heart of why so many winners feel stuck. So
yeah.
if life feels good, if it looks good on paper, but it's off a little bit internally, don't scroll past this episode. Let's huddle up.
Welcome to Huddle for Success. I'm your host, Duane Gibbs. Alongside of me, as always, my partner, Mark Bruce, the Hall of Famer. And we're here every Monday to bring you real talk, real goals, real results. And so, uh, also, don't forget that we come to you every Wednesday and Friday with a Huddle Up episode. That's a quick mindful thought, something that lasts for about 3 to 5 minutes, something that helps carry you throughout the week. And so, today's topic, man, I'm excited about it. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Duane. I am too, man. This we've been beating this one up for a little bit, and it's fun.
Yes, I think this topic, every single person can relate to it.
Yes, and I mean it's a topic that everybody should think about because before you brought it to me, a few days ago, I hadn't given it a whole. Well, I mean, I thought about it a little bit, but man, preparing for this, it's really cleared some things up for me.
Yeah, so over the years, I people that I've worked with, I've always find myself asking this question, and it makes them stop and think. And you know, and this is the question that I would pose. If you could have more of something in your life, but it can't be money, what would that be? And so, with that being said, let's dive in. Let's huddle up. So, we always hear, people talk about what do they want more of, and automatically, boom, they think of money. And I'm going to tell you, money helps. Money helps make things easier. It totally does. So we're not dismissing the fact that money doesn't help and that everybody doesn't need it, but let's talk about what it can't really buy. And I would say a clear mind, a peaceful heart, an extra minute with someone that you love. So I don't know, what is it for you? Is it more time? Is it more energy? Is it more purpose?
Man,
What would you choose?
man, when you throw all those out, it's like yes, yes, yes. I want it all.
Hmm.
which which kind of brought me back to, well, maybe what I really need is clarity, focus. We've talked about focus and clarity a little bit in the past.
Hmm.
I mean, there's so many things I want. My mom's 91. I want to spend as much time with her as I can. She's still sharp and active, but she's 91. I know that there's a limited amount of time left, and I want better health. I want peace of mind. I want a better relationship with God and my spiritual self. So
Yeah.
I want all that stuff. So for me, it's kind of all right. How do I focus in and get clarity on what I work on first? You know?
In Playbook for Life, as you know, we talk about, living for a purpose instead of pressure. And that's really I think that's really where it starts. And, I think it's such a powerful starting point to where we always focus on the money. Anytime that in sales, I've always had my sales guys say, well, they can't afford it. It's always the money, whether you can afford it, you can't afford it. It always revolves around money. And I think, like I've talked about before, money is a result, not a cause. But, and again, I'm not dismissing that money isn't important. I'm just saying that I think there are things in life that we need to slow down. Listen, I was in an industry for 30 years. And when I walked away from the last company, it was having more peace. And my biggest thing is more time. you know, moving my mom and dad here to North Carolina. I wanted to spend more time with them. They were getting older. Unfortunately, my dad passed away 8 months into moving here, and now, with my mom all the time and taking care of her. So time really has, I missed a lot of time over 30 years of traveling. There are things that I wanted to do, birthdays I've missed, things I didn't do. And, sometimes walking away from the money, I felt more at peace because I knew that there was a plan. I just knew that again, money is a result, not a cause. Money will come, but you have to have peace. You have to have peace with yourself of the decision that you make.
Yep. And don't get me wrong, on my goal that I read every morning, I do have a specific dollar amount
No question.
because
No question.
if you're not focused on, and but
No
what
question.
what I added to my goal shortly after I wrote it down was why that specific amount of money was on there. And
No question.
it was to, take financial security for my family and my mom and my dad, and to have time, because the money does allow you to have time. Um, it's not about the money. It really is about, like you said, time with family, with friends, with time to take care of yourself, to be healthy, to find that purpose that you were built for. The clarity I'm looking for. We wrote Playbook for Life, and I loved writing that book. And man, as we finished it, and we're actually it might be out on Amazon before too long.
Oh,
As this maybe even today. You never know. Um, that we've been promised a couple things, but hopefully it's out today.
yeah,
Playbook for
hopefully
Life
so.
on Amazon and Kindle. Um, but we've got so much more that we want to share with people. I've got a series of books that I think will be so beneficial to people in finding their purpose.
Mm, I
I
love
want to I want to help people find their purpose. I want to help them. I want to help people find freedom, time freedom, real freedom to do what they want. So,
Yeah, for some reason, I slept very restless last night just because I had so much on my mind. We had a great mastermind meeting last night, uh, with Laura and Uva and you and myself, and Laura being from Canada, Uva being from Australia. And so you connected me with this mastermind group. And I walked away um, with a lot of thought. And, we talk about our students, of getting them help. We constantly are trying to mind feed and be a part of different programs ourselves because
yeah.
that's how everybody evolves. And so, I thought last night about this, and I shared with you this morning that we you get to a point in your life, myself at 58, you work so hard and so long, 30 years plus of your life, to where you were creating you were creating a platform, and you were creating a stepping stones for people to follow. And it's very important for your family to have something that you're building. I believe the man, so to say, is the household provider. I'm not saying that women aren't. I'm just saying that I just think men, that's their job. Their job is to be a provider for their home. And so, but I believe the next 10 to 12 years is so important to create that legacy. So it's at a point in your life, for the first 30 years, you're creating a financial moat to where you're able to carry your day-to-day, vacations, things that matter to you, things that you spend time with your family, things you buy, whatever that is. But you really need to focus on the next 10 to 12 years. And I love that you put together this diagnostic scorecard or performance sheet, or whatever you call it. I love it. I know that you haven't pinpointed a name for it, but I think it's very powerful. And I love our personal growth scorecard. I know you and I talked about giving it away. on today's episode. If people want it, we're going to tell you at the end of it of how you can get it for free. It's yours. Take it. We find it very impactful. Um, People that we train, they find it impactful, and so this is new. The diagnostic.
The let's call it the Clarity Diagnostic Form.
Clarity Diagnostic Scorecard. Love it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's very impactful and it'll help people. Um, but at the end of the day, you really need to slow down and look at where you're going if you feel like you're not getting anywhere.
Absolutely. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up exactly there.
Yeah.
If you know where you're going. And the personal growth scorecard that we've had for a while, that our clients go through every quarter, it breaks down 10 areas of everybody's life that are very important. Your career and your business, your spirituality, your physical health, your finances, family, friends, significant other, personal growth, lifestyle, and vacations. They're all important. That they're the big pieces of everybody's life. The Clarity Diagnostic can be utilized with that, where we've got 8 questions that you ask, and it's eight questions that you ask. You ask yourself, and score yourself on 1 to 5. I know exactly what my next level looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you know exactly what your next level looks like in health, or are you just letting it be there? So
Right.
you can apply these 8 questions to every piece of your life, and it'll tell you pretty close to how on target you are, and it will really help you gain clarity in your life. I've found it. I've had a coach take me through a leadership summit, and focus and clarity was one of the things that I got out of it the most, that I needed to really concentrate on focusing and clarity. And I think everybody does. Had a conversation with them just the other day, and they said, well, gosh, I need that too. So
Yes.
you know
Yes.
um
No, go ahead. That was a good point.
yeah, well, I mean, both of the we'll make both of these available if you'd like the Clarity Diagnostic Scorecard, that you can use along with the personal growth scorecard. They're both powerful tools to know where you are and help point you in a direction of what you want to work on next. Because you can't work on everything, so you pick one or two things and work on them.
Yeah. You know, with people that I talk to all the time, I break down really of what is important to them right now.
Yeah.
Not what was important last week, because listen, we always talk about everything evolving so fast. What's important to you right now? What do you struggle with on a day-to-day basis? And I believe we really do well at breaking it down and trying to give people the direction that they want to go right now and that they've been struggling with. And a lot of times people, it's not about the money, because there are a lot of people that do have the money that say, hey, money's not the issue. The issue is I need more time. I just talked to a guy on Tuesday that was telling me, listen, the issue that I have, Duane, we were talking about the note business, and he said, money's really not the issue. The issue is I don't have time to go do the business. And so how could you help me with that? How can I produce more time? And so, we had conversation, and then a 15-minute call turned into over an hour and a half. And so, he was very grateful once we got off the phone, and he said, man, this call really helped me out, because it had me looking at things differently that I really didn't think about. I thought about them, but I didn't think them into the content that we spent time and went through, and I was able to get something from that. And so I believe we do that really well
Yeah.
with our experience, with everything that we've done over the years of really peeling back the onion, so to say, and getting to the root of the real problem. Now, if it's money, we can, there are things maybe that you need to look at. Do you live beyond your means? Are you buying things really that, again, beyond your means, that you shouldn't be buying? And are you putting yourself on a budget? What's that look like for you? And so we work with people too that have a money problem, and they want to create more money. And so I think it comes from the mindset. We need to look at your mindset and where you're at with that.
Yep, absolutely. It's funny because somebody really woke me up on this one. It's because when they ask, so what's really important to you?
Mm,
And I gave them my answer. I do my family and everything. It said, now look at your calendar
yeah,
and tell me what's on your calendar because that's what's really important to you.
sure.
So
Yeah,
I challenge everybody to look at your calendar and see
that's
if
a good point.
what you're speaking is what you're living.
Yeah.
And if not, getting clear about what it is that you really want is the first step. Let's see.
So let's talk about this diagnostic scorecard. So, well, I mean, looking at it, talk about this. You have a score system. What's that?
Well,
Talk about that.
okay, the score system's easy. You answer each of these 8 questions on a scale of 1 to 5.
Hmm.
And I think 1 to 5 is good because, a lot of people are going to put threes because, that's just the average and they don't want to commit one way or the other. But answer them truly honest. And the questions are very, will help you find clarity on where you stand. And it will also point to what you need to work on. But here's some of the questions. I know exactly what my next level looks like. Are you clear on what your next level looks like? What does your next level in your business look like? What's the next level in your family look like?
These are really good questions because I can tell you that 3 years ago I could have used this.
Yep.
I could have really used this to when I was going through as you know, trying to reinvent myself.
Yep.
What did that look like going in so many directions? And we always think that we have it figured out, but really, do we slow down enough to identify the question? And that's a good point. Being able to not just throw a three or a two or a four. Hey, I feel this way. Okay, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel like you're putting a three? Justify your answer,
Yep.
not just because.
Yeah. Well, hey, the second question is, I wake up knowing my priorities without hesitation.
Ooh,
Do you? Because I will tell you, sometimes that's my biggest problem.
I'm gonna tell you, I got a squirrel in my office, and it's always squirrel. And
Well,
speaking of squirrel, I have been going like this. So some of you are probably saying, "Do you know you got something on your face?" Yes. Go get checked. Go get checked at a dermatologist and make sure that you're clear of skin cancer. Those of you that know me, I had some skin cancer over here, and I just had some cut out here. So yes, I'm aware. I have a Band-Aid on my face.
it's
You
not a
probably-
target. It's
it's
not a
not a
target.
target. It's not something for you to focus on. I don't want you to focus on this. I want you to, obviously focus on this new chart that Mark put together. But yes, so I wanted to address the spot in the room.
Yeah. Anyway, um, the clarity. There's 6 more questions. My decisions feel sharp and confident. Do they? Are you clear on that?
Mm-hmm.
When you score each of these eight questions, you'll know whether you're clear or not, and you'll know what you need to work on. And if you're not sure how to work on it, that's what we're here for. Give us a call. We'd be more than happy to walk you through the Clarity Diagnostic form.
Yeah, I'm just looking at them, and these are really good. You came up with some really good ones.
Yep. I'm doing work that feels meaningful, not just necessary.
Yeah, I know talking about that was good because um, I uh, I opened up to the group last night with again the first time being in this particular group about what was your win, and you know uh, Laura openly said, "Hey, I have a problem of reading all these books but not finishing them. You get hooked on it or whatever." And so I had to confess that, what was important to me was reading a book that I started, and it was very important to me to finish the book. And so that was important. I can tell you that with us having our own business, not having to worry about punching a clock, us doing our own thing, it just seemed like it gave me some more time to really settle down and make that a priority. And I'm glad I did, because it's something that my pastor has written, great book, and was able to get through it.
I was going to say Harry Potter's a really long book. That's good.
I didn't read Harry Potter.
I know.
Listen, I committed to reading. I didn't say I was going to read 10,000 pages. Yeah. So, no, the accountability part, really good, really good.
Yes. Yep. So, this Clarity Diagnostic Form scorecard, it works very well with our personal growth scorecard. And as Duane said, we'll put a link. We'll put a link there. Email us. We'll email you both of them.
Yeah, if you would like to have a copy of this, of both of them, we would love to give those to you. Just go to, and Mark's going to put in,
I'll try and put in the description a link.
in the description itself, our website. Actually, just send us an email at info@huddleforsuccess.com, and we'll get this over to you. And so, I don't know, Mark. I think that's all I really have. I think it's something for people to think about. I know that we wrote down a couple of examples, points that we wanted to talk about.
I think we hit most of them.
Wrapping up.
Yeah, I think we hit most of them. I mean, I challenge everybody after watching this, sit down and write down that one thing that you wished you had more of that's not money.
I have this here, that we took notes on. If you want clarity, define your one goal for you for the next 90 days.
Yep.
If you want confidence, take one small, courageous action today. And if you want peace, block out 15 minutes and pause with no noise. And so I think that's a challenge that everybody should take.
Yep, absolutely.
I love it.
You journal, I journal. My morning is 10 things I'm grateful for, and then 5 minutes of meditation and prayer. So, great challenge.
I love it.
Great.
I love it. So listen, we appreciate you, the listener, tuning in to Huddle for Success. This is our podcast that we do each and every Monday. Also tune in every Wednesday and Friday, where we do a huddle up session, 3 to 5 minute, with a quick mindful thought of the day. Always go to huddleforsuccess.com and get all the information about our playbook for life. If you haven't received it, great book, great reviews. Speaking of reviews, like, share, and leave comments, because we do check those, and we appreciate the ones that have left a comment. And so, with that being said, don't forget, get your playbook for life at huddleforsuccess.com, and we will see you all next Monday. With that being said, stay huddled up.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Huddle for Success. If you found it helpful and want to support others on their journey, share this podcast, leave us a rating, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you next week on Huddle for Success. Stay huddled up.